Okay, it says we're live. Welcome everyone to my live stream with Leigha Lake on how to elevate your energy and shift your vibe so you can attract what you want in your love life and really in all areas of your life. This works fantastic if you're single and you're looking to attract your empowered masculine energy man, or if you're with a man or you have one particular man in mind. This will help him see you in a whole new way and really inspire him to rise up and elevate himself to meet you where you're at. So Leigha, welcome, and thank you so much for doing this live stream with me today.
Helena, I'm excited. I haven't done a live with you. So yes, I'm excited.
They're so much fun, and every time I do a video with Leigha, everyone is just like, bring her on again soon, and that definitely happened during the last one we posted. So there are a lot of people watching. Can you guys hear us okay and see us? I'm always really nervous when we start these because sometimes the sound works, sometimes it doesn't, so just let us know in the chat. But unless we hear that it's not working, we're just going to jump right in. So Leigha, where would you like to start here? Like, what are some struggles or common misconceptions that a lot of women hold when it comes to being that woman that a man never wants to lose, and really shifting out of her wounded energy or raising her vibration to attract what she wants in her love life?
Okay, I love it. I love it. So let's say a woman, okay, so this works whether she wants to attract love or like have her partner meet her at the level that she's at. So sometimes in a relationship, right, as we grow, we want our partners to grow with us. And so that's what we're going to be talking about, how to do that. And most women and men, but when we want to attract something, we start doing all these high vibration tools and trying visualizing and journaling and trying to raise our vibration. And the thing that isn't really talked about is if a woman's doing all of these things and she still feels stuck, nothing's moving, she just feels like nothing's working, then most likely she's in her wounded energies with her boundaries.
That is so crucial, and I'm so glad you brought up boundaries. I'm sure that you have so much to say on that. I know I definitely do. I think it would be helpful for everyone, if this is your first time hearing some of these concepts like wounded masculine and feminine versus empowered masculine and feminine. Leigha, would you mind explaining the difference between those and maybe giving some examples?
Okay. Yeah. So the wounded energies are, so the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine, if you can imagine, if we had a scale right here, so codependency and narcissism, codependency is the wounded feminine, being narcissistic is the wounded masculine. And so there's this big range of wounded energy, right? And then when we activate and integrate our masculine and feminine energies, they come together. And then you imagine this is the empowered energies of the masculine and feminine, which is the king and the queen, God and the goddess, the warrior and the heroine, those. So those are my archetypes that I put together on how to shift from the wounded energies into these empowered energies so that a woman can attract the man that she's dreamt about since she was a child, or she can inspire the man she's with now to raise up and be her king.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And thank you to everyone, letting us know that you can see us okay. I just wanted to take a second and say hi to everyone joining: Emma, SC, Cynthia, Sophie, Claudie, everybody, Fatima, Ursa, Vinny. Hey, you guys, thank you so much. If you have questions for Leigha or myself, feel free to type those into the chat too. We have about, I would say, 45 minutes, Leigha, something like that?
Yep.
So any questions you have about that? Okay, so perfect. That was an amazing explanation. Thank you so much. So what would a woman do to start to shift into her empowered energies and therefore start attracting a man who's at that place, or inspiring her man to rise up to that level and really just become that one woman that he never wants to lose?
Okay, so there's a very common thing that I've seen really recently is when when something's not working for a woman, and her ability to say no and to trust that what's best for her is also best for everybody else.
That makes so much sense. I just want to jump in there and say the common misconception that I see when it comes to that in women is that they kind of like compromise themselves and what they truly desire because they think that that's what a man is going to find attractive, or they don't want to lose a guy, so they kind of like tolerate bad behavior. They're afraid to set a boundary because they don't want to come across as like difficult or high maintenance, or scare a man off. I mean, that's been my experience, what I've seen in women. Leigha, have you found that to be true as well?
Yes, yes. And this is like in relationships with a man, with friendships, with family, is this like not liking the situation you're in and not being able to say like, this isn't working for me, something needs to change, or letting a man know that she's no longer interested, like she doesn't know how to do that, so she might not even say anything. Or there's the opposite of that is when a man says no for her, because what we teach, right, is that the masculine wants to deeply fulfill the feminine's desire. And so there can be it can be perceived differently, where it's like, well, I want to do this, and he should want to do this too because he's the masculine energy. But if she's in that space, then it's a wounded energy, where if she wants to do something and he says no, then she's like, okay, that's fine, then I'm going to go do it by myself. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I do want to go, or something like that. But if she's in her wounded energy, then the empowered masculine won't meet her where she's at down there.
I've heard you say that before. One example I always use that I got from one of our videos that we did together is that, the wounded masculine will be there for the feminine and support her, but he won't get drawn into wounded energy. Like, I think the example you gave is that, if a man is in his empowered masculine and his partner is sick or has an accident and is in the hospital, he will go and sacrifice himself and support her, but he won't sacrifice himself for wounded energy. For example, if the woman is cheating or abusing him in some way or throwing a tantrum. Do I have that right? I love that example.
Yes. So that is definitely for the empowered masculine, won't do that. If both partners are kind of wishy-washy on their wounded, like they're kind of up and down, not very solid in their value and what their dreams are, and they don't have those boundaries in place, then we can actually, when we're in our wounded energy, inspire the wounded energy from other people.
That is so powerful. I've actually never heard you say that before. That is great. Somebody said they love it when they come together. Literally sat here with a paper and pen taking notes. Oh, that is so awesome. Somebody asked a great question. What if he loves me, but he's hesitant to come forward because he doesn't feel good enough? Leigha, where would that fit into this wounded versus empowered masculine and feminine? Or does that even apply here?
Yeah. So for the woman asking the question, so she really needs to be firm in her own value and what she knows that she deserves. She deserves a man who knows he's good enough. So that's her moving out of a wounded feminine into her empowered feminine. And that is the way to inspire him to meet her at her level and to say something along the lines of like, I love you and I trust you can figure this out for yourself, but I do want to be with a man who knows that he's good enough for me.
Wow, that is so powerful. That's why I love doing live streams and like answering questions in real time, because that is so huge. And I totally get the tendency to want to like make excuses for men, like, oh, well, he's having these issues, or he's having, self-esteem problems, and then putting yourself on hold for him, right? And not really standing up for what you want, what you truly desire. So I love that. That was such a beautiful answer. Someone else asked, how many chances would you give the man you have married to meet your boundary? Leigha, do you want to talk about boundaries for a minute and how, that's an interesting question. How many chances would you give someone?
Yeah. So I wonder if she could give just a little bit more information, because a boundary is can be flexible, but is it a deal breaker? Is what he is doing right now a deal breaker? Because then there's not really any chances. Or is it like he keeps saying, oh, I'm going to do this, and he doesn't follow through? Like that, it would depend.
That makes so much sense. Yeah. Yeah. If you could clarify, if you feel comfortable, talking a little more about it, giving some more details. Yeah. Is this a deal breaker, or is it just something like I keep asking him to do this little thing and he's not doing it? Yeah. Very different energy. Someone else asked, how do we see wounded masculine energy? That is a great question. I know we both have a lot to say about that. From my perspective, wounded masculine could manifest in like bullying, pushing and shoving your way into getting what you want. Are you asking how to recognize it in men when you're in the early stages of dating? That could be narcissistic tendencies, men who are emotionally unavailable, basically like men who punish you, who hold things over you. Leigha, what do you have to say on how to recognize wounded masculine energy early on?
Yeah, so I just want to say, like, this is what my Feminine Art of Dating covers, and Feminine Energy Secrets in depth, so that women can recognize these and not get blindsided. And actually, once you have the awareness of them, then you start seeing it everywhere. And the awareness actually elevates you to be able to see what the empowered energies will and will not do. And you start living in a whole different world. So with that being said, the wounded masculine is that, Helena covered a lot of it. The bully, he will come on super strong, and then he'll leave distance. He will, he's narcissistic. He avoids responsibility. He will put, like, if a woman says something, he'll just put it right back on her. Like, well, that's your fault. So he's kind of so I say he, right? Women and men can have both of these. But there's like a dictator, like, do it my way, you got to hurry, there's urgency. And there's also the energy of like wanting a trophy and just keeping things surface level, and like loving the prestige and the money over the relationship. Like, there's a whole lot of
I think that is perfect. Yeah. And the empowered masculine is more like gives freely without an agenda, supports the feminine, is there as like a really strong, steady container. So anything that doesn't feel like that and doesn't feel good on a deep level would be in the wounded masculine. These are some of the best questions I've ever had on a live stream, you guys. This is so awesome. Leigha, do you mind if I go over some more, or do you have anything else you want to share before I do that?
Yeah, go over some more questions. I'm loving this. This is so fun.
Yeah, these are so like perfect for this topic. I'm so glad we decided to do one on this topic. Someone said, what do you do if you know you're supposed to be with a particular masculine man, but he's giving attention to karmic partners in the physical, remaining detached from me? Interesting question. I don't know really any details about that, but you really don't want to, you want to watch what he does without placing so much meaning on it. Just what is this man doing? Is his energy coming towards you? And how do you feel about yourself when you're with him and when you're not with him, right, Leigha? You really want to, not place so much meaning on anything. Don't analyze, and just watch what he's doing. Be less of an analyzer and more of an observer is something I always say. Leigha, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, so I was actually really curious when she said, like, I know I'm supposed to be with him. So
great question. Yeah, if you want to clarify that a little bit. Yeah.
So if we have this idea that I know I'm supposed to be with somebody, we actually back ourselves into a corner, and it's almost like there's like a smoky screen in front of us, because we miss all like the signs and the real message coming through, because we have this idea. We're looking through a different set of glasses. I'm supposed to be with him, and he doesn't realize it. Rather than like, is he the man I need him to be in order to live in my world?
Amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could not have said that better. That is so true. That's so true. Anything else? Do you want to add anything else to that? Because I know I hear from so many women who feel like they have this knowing that they're supposed to be with a man who's not really doing anything, or he's interested in other women. And there's just no way on earth that can possibly feel good. Of course, I don't know the details of the situation, but that certainly wouldn't feel good to me, right? Leigha, anything else you want to add there?
Yeah, just for any woman who feels like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be with this man, then to be able to really question that, like, why do I feel so strongly? Like, why am I like staying in this painful space? And to be able to, the elevated energy of that is actually, it's not about already choosing him. It's about seeing if he can meet you where you're at, and then you can choose him. But you don't want to choose a man first and then hope he can meet you.
Beautiful. Yeah, perfect. I always say, you get to choose among all the men who are coming towards you and crazy about you and pursuing you, right? The last thing you want to do is put a guy on a pedestal, because then you're going to want to go after him, even in subtle ways. It kind of shifts you into this masculine energy place where, hi. Do you want to come? Sorry, I'm like doing a live stream with Leigha right now. So yeah, it shifts you into this masculine energy place where you can't help it. You're going to want to go after him and start to prove yourself to him and win him over, even on a really subtle level. All these things that start to push the guy away, right, Leigha?
Yes. So that idea, that belief that I'm supposed to be with this man, actually puts you in the wounded energy.
That is so powerful. I actually didn't even know that. I never thought about it like that before. So that is brilliant. Can you repeat that one more time? The idea that you're supposed to be with someone who's not really doing anything or coming towards you puts you into wounded energy. Do I have that right?
Right. Yes. It's a wounded energy. It states, it's like, I'm supposed to be with this person. And there's like, so we teach, right? Like, so the feminine energy, the masculine energy, the idea of I'm supposed to be with him, if this is feminine, closes this space. There's no room for him to be inspired. If she stays back and like, let me see if you're the man for me, right? Instant opening. And then he has the space to be inspired to meet her.
Amazing. That is like one of my favorite things I've ever heard you say. And I've never even thought about it like that. So that's why I love talking to Leigha. I always get so excited because that is so huge. I feel like everyone should just rewind that and watch that part like 5 times. I know I certainly will, because that was so powerful. Someone else asked, what if he asked to hang out and you say yes, but then he doesn't actually make plans? Leigha, I would actually love to hear your take on that one.
Okay. Yeah. So then, right. So that is actually wounded feminine energy. And you want to be with an empowered masculine. Well, I'm guessing. So whether it's a man or a woman, right? You wanted to be with empowered masculine energy. Just to be clear, what I teach is both, but it's easier to just talk about it in like this.
Yeah, you're saying the man who asked her out but is now not making plans, is in his wounded feminine?
He's in his wounded feminine, right? That's the wishy-washy, the flakiness, the not following through is wounded feminine, right? So wounded feminine is not following through. Wounded masculine is like forcing, like, you're doing this. You're coming with me. Okay. So if he's in his wounded feminine, then it will pull. See, she's wanting to like do something like, oh, most women would be like this. Oh, well, maybe he's waiting for me to follow up. Maybe he's waiting for me to call him or text him, when it's actually the empowered masculine will just naturally and automatically call, text, follow through.
Yeah, it's so much easier than we can tend to think. Like, I know something that we've talked about in some of the programs we've done together is how easy is it for you to just reach out to a guy that you really like? On a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 8 to 10, right? And so it's even easier for an empowered masculine energy man. So what would you have her do in this situation? Just do nothing? Or is there something she could say to him?
Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't say, so the most important thing she could do is get all of her focus off of him. Like anytime, anytime we're feeling that anxiousness or that even triggered, the best thing we can do is take our focus off of it, focus it on ourselves, on our, what do we enjoy in life? Just remove all that energy. And that actually can inspire the empowered energies in that other person.
I love that. This is so huge. I feel like there's so many quotes that are just like perfect coming from this. This is so much fun. Someone else asked, how can we express our boundaries gracefully? A guy started off calling every day. Now he's only texting, even though I said how good it felt when he called. Great question. Is this a man you're dating? Did you meet him online, but you haven't actually met him yet? That would be helpful. But Leigha, do you have a script for expressing your boundaries gracefully?
Okay, so just if I were in that situation and knowing what I know, and if a man stopped calling and then he was just texting, I would actually give him like a week or two to see if he naturally stepped up. Because if he didn't, then because that would be your queen energy, which is like, I value my time. I'm not waiting, but like I'm choosing a man who can step up. Right? You don't want to be helping a man. And that's what, to me, it feels like a man should naturally be calling you and wanting to see you. And if he's not, then just let him go.
I totally agree. I mean, of course, it's fine to say, like, I'm feeling a little burnt out on texting. It felt amazing to hear your voice last time or something, but then don't keep texting him, right? One mistake I see so many women make is they set a boundary, and then rather than following it up with action and distance and behavior, they just keep talking about it. Like they keep bringing it up and saying it, where I would say, if you say that once, don't keep texting him if you told him that you prefer a phone call, right, Leigha?
Yes. So yeah, I love that. Like I'm feeling burned out on texting, but it's her energy. So it's your energy that actually makes the biggest difference. It's not actually the boundary of the text, right? It's like, yeah, this isn't working for me. I don't really like this. Like we all respond to people's energies, and he will feel that. If she is embodying that, like, yeah, I don't think so, he will respond to that.
I love that. You guys, these comments are so amazingly. I can't wait for you to see them. Joy says, great answer. Thank you. Someone says, amen. Makes so much sense. Sophie says, based on all the videos from your channel, I've actually dropped the whole idea of I'm supposed to be with him. Even got over a man where I was ignoring his red flags. Oh my gosh, amazing.
I love it.
Yes, that is so awesome. Someone said, if we just started dating but not too serious, is it okay to ask if he's seeing other people? What's the best way to ask without making it seem like an attack on him? I would say there are different ways to go about it. I would say if it's really early on, and Leigha, I would love to hear what you have to say on this because you're so good and clear on the timelines. Leah's like a total expert at that. But if it's pretty early on, I would just assume that you're dating, and I would keep your options open until he asks you to be exclusive, or if he asks if you are seeing other men. I wouldn't get overly invested in him or try to like lock it down prematurely if you're still in those early stages. Leigha, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And so just for her to check in with herself, like, why do I need to know this answer? Like, is this like something coming up in me that I feel anxious, or is it because I just want to feel like where is this question coming from? And here's the thing. An empowered masculine energy man is going to want you to know like where he's at with things. So I bet if you give it just a little bit more time for things to move forward, then he's going to be the one bringing it up. But here's the thing, like if you bring it up, like, are you seeing other people, that just naturally sends the message that that's what you want. Like that's otherwise, why would you ask that?
I was just going to say that. You took the words out of my mouth. Like, what's your intention, right? What's your intention of asking? Is it because you're trying to subtly push things forward? Are you asking out of anxiety because you are, you just want to be with him? It's your intention behind it is going to come out in your vibe and in your energy, right, Leigha?
Yes. He'll feel your energy more than your words.
Absolutely. Yeah. Men are really sensitive. We can think that we're totally playing it cool, but they're really sensitive. They pick up on these things in our vibe. So even if you're asking super casually, but deep down, you're hoping for a certain response from him or trying to make something happen, he's going to be able to feel that right away. So I love everything you said there, Leigha. Great question. This is like one of the best, most interesting questions probably I've ever had on a live stream. What if you walk away from a wounded masculine man because you finally realize your own worth and you feel a little guilty? Don't these guys need love? Won't they become even more wounded now? Isn't that interesting? I would love to hear your take on that, Leigha.
Oh my gosh. Like, I love this question. And this is just so common. This, like, I actually had this question already today. This, how could, like, I feel guilty. And the number one thing for every woman watching this is what is best for you is best for everybody else. Like,
what is best for you? What's best for you is best for everybody else. I love that. Can you talk a little bit more about that? So important, because most of us don't feel that way, right? That's kind of the whole theme of this video.
Yes, this is the whole theme, because that's why we are afraid to like implement our boundaries. Like, we might say we have these boundaries, but to actually implement them, we start to feel guilty. We worry about hurting another person's feelings or leaving them in their wounded energy. And so that is the codependent, the wounded feminine. And so our job is to trust that what's best for us is best for everyone else. When we're empowered, it's an empowered energy, right? What's best for me is best for them. And the wounded is not, it is like a narcissistic way of viewing. That's actually wounded masculine. But if you're empowered and you're walking away from something that isn't working for you, and you know you deserve better, then what's best for you is best for everybody else.
Amazing. I mean, who hasn't been there, right? And, you know, leaving you feel guilty, like, oh, am I abandoning them? And, you know, maybe they need me, they need my, you know, I totally get that. But so, yeah, really important. That's another like Leigha quote. I would write that down. Everybody who said they're taking notes. What's best for you is best for everybody else. Brilliant. I love that. Someone else asked, what about the man who is capable to meet you? How do we inspire him? You know, I would say it's about, setting that boundary. And Leigha, you know, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. Setting that boundary, the empowered feminine then holds that space and doesn't try and close that gap, holds the space and doesn't settle until what she wants comes through. Any practical tips around that, Leigha? Or I'd love to hear all your thoughts on that question as well.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So how do we inspire a man who's actually capable? That was the question, right?
Yes.
So it's such a good question. Okay, so when a woman is in her empowered energies, like, she will just naturally inspire the empowered energies in a man. And just like Helena said, like, you will know by the way you feel, and you will feel loved, adored, cherished, all the good things that we want to feel. You will feel those things. And that is important for every woman to know, like, how do I want to feel in a relationship? So that you can, so you don't get pulled down into like, well, you know, he treats me pretty good, right? No, you want to feel like, I feel loved and adored and cherished and safe and secure. Okay, like, this feels good. And you just know because your body tells you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Your body and your intuition and your feelings have all the answers inside. You have all the answers inside of yourself already. So you want to tune into that. Another great question about this. How does the wounded feminine energy happen inside of a man? You know, wounded feminine energy is like that damsel in distress energy. It's the, when you're not willing or able, or you don't have motivation to take care of yourself or to take care of something in your life. So you're kind of waiting on someone or something to come in and save you. And of course, men and women can have this. So Leigha, what's your answer to this? How does it happen inside of a man?
Yeah, so the most common that I've seen is more of the flakiness, like, oh, I'll call you, or like, I'm not sure, like, let's get together, but there's no, like, they just don't, you know, nail down a time, or they don't, like, they like kind of make plans, but they leave you like wondering. So the wounded feminine energy of a man will leave you longing for more, will leave you wondering where you stand, and which pulls you into your wounded masculine, like, you want answers. You need to know, right? So that's what happens.
Wow, I'm just like going crazy over here. That was so brilliant and powerful. Like sometimes I feel like you say stuff and you don't realize how brilliant it really is. So can you just repeat that one more time? So when a man's in his wounded feminine, meaning being flaky, it stirs something up in us that feels like longing, right? And that causes us to jump into our wounded masculine and want answers and want to probably bring up conversations about the relationship when you're coming from a place of lack. Do I have that right?
Yes, exactly. Like, so when he's just like wanting you to pursue or bringing up feelings within you, just like, yeah, the longing, wondering where things are going, then the wounded masculine inside of the woman will just want to like to have the conversations, and know like, okay, I just need to know where we are. And she'll just keep over giving, over functioning. So like the man starts leaning back and she's just keeps moving forward because he's not giving her, it's like she's falling forward. That's how it feels. It feels completely out of control.
Totally. I mean, who hasn't been there, right? Who hasn't dealt with a guy who's flaky and he's the one you really like. And so you just, it feels this sense of longing is a big problem. I really found, right? Sometimes we can focus on certain things in a man that end up creating a feeling of longing in us, where what we like to get you to do is focus on his internal qualities and what he's actually doing, his masculine action towards you, which creates a feeling of loving, not longing. So people mix the two sometimes. They feel that sense of longing and then they place meaning on it, like, well, he's my soulmate, or we're meant to be together, or this is true love. But those intense feelings that Leah's talking about don't always equal true love, even though it creates this feeling almost like an addictive high or obsession that feels like love to so many of us who had those patterns. Usually started earlier in life. So this is great, you guys. These questions are amazing. Someone said one day he shows up strong, the next day he shows up busy. I got anxious about this. He started telling me that my friends are important. What does this mean and what should I do? You know, anytime you start asking what a man means, every day I get, questions about what does this mean? And it's often not helpful to analyze what things mean. I would say watch what he does. Just watch what he does. Don't get pulled into this back and forth energy. Like if he's hot and cold, one day he shows up strong, the next day he's busy. You don't want to get pulled into that. I think sticking with this topic, coming from an empowered place, you're anchored right where you are. You want to stay on your own life and then watch what he does. Does he jump on that path with you or not? I mean, right, Leah? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, exactly. And so just like that's wounded feminine energy. Like he's there, then he's not. It's a slippery feeling. It's like he can't really like communicate or have, there's no stability. So that's wounded feminine. And so for a woman to be able to recognize that and be like, okay, so I'm going to be in my empowered feminine and lean back, create space, see what this man does. If he's going to be inspired, he will. But if he's not, she gets to see exactly what he does and how she feels. So a woman should feel good at 90% of the time from the very beginning up until forever.
I love that. I love you're so sure. Like you give these specific timelines and examples, and that's one thing I love about Leah. Is just that's the empowered feminine, right? And masculine, holding that space and not settling until you feel good 90% of the time. I mean, that's an amazing thing. That's an amazing standard that every woman should have for themselves, I believe, right? So someone else says, how to practice feminine energy to possibly rekindle with an ex. It ended almost 2 months ago. We did no contact for 7 weeks. Now we're back in touch. The conversation's been light and short. Any tips on how to apply this to rekindling a relationship?
So it would actually be exactly the same as if she had just met him.
Yeah, treat him like a brand new man is what I always say, right? He doesn't get special treatment because he's your ex and you have a connection prior, right? Treat him like a brand new guy is what I would say. Any other thoughts on that?
Just for her to be aware of what energy she's in. If she's in her empowered energies, she'll create the best outcome possible. If she's not, then
Absolutely. Yeah. Someone says, oh my gosh, yes, I feel like I'm at that point. Men force us into being the masculine, and no matter how hard you try to be the feminine, they don't always let you. Yeah, don't beat yourself up for someone that was never going to change, right? That's the first thing we often do is blame ourselves or go, well, if I were this, if I were pretty enough, if I were feminine enough or smart enough, then he would change into some guy who's magically available and in his empowered masculine, right? So a lot of times it's just not the right match, and we can like dig ourselves in and blame ourselves for it, right, Leigha? So it's not about like, well, you didn't do things good enough. Letting go of a man who isn't stepping up is a super empowered place to be, right?
Yeah, yeah. So beating ourselves up for not having done certain things or for something not working out is actually the wounded masculine inside of her, her inner bully. And the empowered masculine feminine will say, we weren't a fit. Like, I love myself enough to let you go. And I trust that my ideal match is going to come to me. Like, that is the empowered mindset.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Someone says, what if the man you let go of still contacts you from time to time? Yeah, that's going to happen, right? Something I always say is that, yes, you do these tools and the man that maybe brought you to this work or the man that you originally wanted, absolutely, he'll come back, he'll start contacting you more, but that doesn't mean that all of a sudden he's totally available and in his empowered energy and totally ready for a relationship, right? So what would you have her do? Women ask me all the time, should I block his number? Should I respond? Should I not respond? Leigha, do you have any like guidelines around that?
Okay, yes. So just it's always first about a woman being in her empowered, I would say right here, her empowered feminine of the queen. It's like, I value my time and energy, so I'm not going to put it towards this relationship that I know is not going to work out. So when she's in her that empowered, like, I value my time, then she will feel better. It's not going to be easy, better about saying, hey, like, something about like, it would depend on if it feels good hearing from him or not, but I might just say something like, it's nice getting your text, but it's time for both of us to go our separate ways, and I wish you the best of luck. You could say something like that, to just put a stop to it. Then if he keeps doing it, then I wouldn't respond. But it's about the energy of you valuing your time so much that you're not willing to just leave the door open for past energies to take up space.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. You guys, these comments are amazing. Someone said, that's so true. The superficial longing versus inner loving. Erica says, that's me now, longing for a wounded feminine man. I've got to snap out of it. This is great advice. I'm so glad this is helpful. Anya's watching too. You guys stay tuned, because probably in like less than a week, Anya Grace and I are going to be releasing a whole series of videos called the Feminine Empowerment System. If you want to learn more about how to get into that empowered feminine energy place, and empowered masculine too, really to like start attracting everything you want in life. So Anya's a huge fan of you too, Leigha. She said, can't wait to connect. Leigha, your insight's so powerful. I've heard so many amazing things. Yes, everybody loves Leigha. Everybody loves when Leah's on. So then someone says, what if he asks to hang out the same day, but you're just busy and he takes that as rejection? Will he try again? Would you say that's wounded masculine or feminine if a man takes her being busy as rejection?
Yeah. So first of all, like, Helena told me about these videos, and I just want to say I feel they sound amazing. So I'm so excited for you guys to do that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're really excited too. It's going to be each one. There's 5 of them. Each one is one aspect of your feminine energy. And just off the top of my head, experiencing, feeling, trusting, allowing, and receiving. So those are going to be amazing. Everyone, stay tuned for that.
Oh, so awesome. Okay, so yes, so the feeling rejected is wounded feminine energy.
Wounded fem. So he's in his wounded feminine. If she's
Yes.
busy and he says he feels rejected, yeah, I would. Yeah, absolutely, I would say that as well. Any advice for her? Just
for her to, okay, so if she can stay empowered and trust that the right man for her, right? Because so she's looking for a king. Is a king going to sulk and think, oh, she doesn't want to spend time with me? No, he's going to be like, okay, when are you free?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. Somebody says, so thankful for everything I've learned here. I have a beautiful connection with someone I've known for years. Didn't know he was such an amazing soul. Take the advice. Don't settle for less. Learn your worth if you know it and lean into your worth and your own energy. Seriously, let go and release, release, release. Awesome. I love that. You guys, these questions are great. I know, Leah, you have to go pretty soon, right? Anything is it, I'm just going to scroll through these and make sure we didn't miss any. Is there any other like last words of wisdom, or do you want to talk about the feminine art of dating or your feminine energy secrets? Anything else you have to say while I look through these last questions would be great.
Okay, so yes, so for women who are wanting to attract that empowered masculine energy man, I just started the feminine art of dating. It's a 4-week course. You could still do it, and I go deep into these what I'm calling archetypes of the wounded and the empowered, and I believe it's like the most powerful manifesting love course. So yeah, if that's where you're at right now, I just encourage you to check it out. And yeah, that's all I have to say on that. The more you know, the more you learn about these empowered and wounded energies, the more successful you will be in your relationship and with money, with attracting what you want to you.
Yeah, absolutely. There is no going back.
Yeah.
Something we always say, right? There is no going back once you learn this stuff and really start to embody it. 2 quick questions before we close out, Leah. I know we're a little short on time today. Someone says, what do you think about texting a guy first? I don't initiate texts or calls. Are there exceptions? Great question. That's something I get asked all the time. Leah, what do you have to say on that?
Okay, so for like, there's no rules, right? But it depends on if you're in wounded energies or if you're in your empowered energies. You can basically do whatever you want when you are in your empowered energies because you're inspired from a divine place. If it's coming from the wounded energy, it will come from a needing to be filled up. So that's for everyone to decide for themselves. Am I truly empowered and I could care less and I just want to, or do I need some attention, or do I have this imaginary idea about this person?
Yeah, I mean, something I always say to ask yourself is, what am I hoping will happen, right? And if you can answer that strongly, like, well, I'm really hoping that he'll, start stepping up more. I'm hoping to inspire him to do something. You have an agenda. You're trying to make something happen, right? You're coming from that masculine place, maybe getting pulled into his wounded feminine. Depends on the situation. Of course, we don't know the details. If you were to ask yourself, what am I hoping will happen? And the answer is nothing. If you're not attached to the outcome or the result, you can do anything. If you know a guy is totally into you and you can't shake him off of you because he's just so crazy about you, you can literally do whatever you want, right? That's what's so great about this work. There are no rules except for what feels good to you, right? So you can do all the things we say not to do, right? You can call a guy up, you can ask him to come over. If you know for sure he's crazy about you and you're feeling super confident, then you can do anything. Most women, especially asking questions like that, are not at that place. That's when we say, bring it back to zero and just always lean back, always come from your feminine and experience what it's like actually receiving from a man, because that's such a foreign concept to so many women. Leah, would you agree?
Yes, yes, yes. So, and I agree with everything you said, that typically that question is coming from a place of wanting something to happen. And just knowing what I know, if we start the relationship off from our masculine energy and it moves forward, then the man's in his feminine energy. And then it's really hard to get that dynamic back to where you would actually feel the best.
Yeah, you want to start off on the right foot with this. If you're single and learning this information, it's sometimes a lot easier because you're starting off on the right foot and attracting that, rather than, we have a great question from Patricia who says she's married to a wounded feminine man for 20 plus years. What are your tips for shifting things? I feel like telling him I'm sorry for pushing him away, even though I'm okay, if nothing changes. Any tips for someone in a long-term relationship with a man in his wounded feminine?
Okay, so always it has to start off with a woman getting integrated into her own empowered masculine and feminine. Like, that's where the work starts. Otherwise, there's no real shift. It's just a wounded energy shift. So if she can get into her empowered energies, that will start shifting the energy between her and her partner. And then if he's in his wounded feminine, then she has to embody the empowered energies to pull him or inspire him out of that wounded feminine.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't you have a program on Make Him Fall in Love All Over Again, reconnecting your relationships? That's still available?
Oh yeah. Start there. That
might be helpful. I can post links. I'll post links to everything as soon as we're done. And then just last question, because it just came through and it's so applicable to this topic. Someone says, what if you're financially stuck and you want to try to make it work and he's not seeing your worth and you want to show him your worth and try to make it work? Very interesting question. Leigha, any like last tips on that one before we close out?
Okay, so I just want to be clear on the question. So it's not working out. They're financially strapped and she wants to prove that she can bring in the money.
He's not seeing your worth and you want to show him your worth and try to make things work. That's all the information I have there. It's kind of just in general.
Okay, so there's nothing to prove. He should want to be with you just because you're you, and you shouldn't have to try so hard. So that seems like there is just like a shifting between the two wounded energies. And so the only way to demonstrate value is to value yourself, and that then your masculine and feminine need to be activated and integrated to the empowered.
Absolutely. Yeah. Something I always say is a man can't value you any more than you value yourself, just like he can't love you or respect you any more than you love and respect yourself. So everything starts with you. I think that's kind of like another theme of this video. It all starts with your own, integrating your own energies and, shifting things within yourself, elevating your value in your own eyes first. So then a man naturally feels this urge to come closer, right? He naturally sees you as that one woman he never wants to lose. And also you're like organically led to make the right decisions. Decisions, right? Decisions that would serve you better than anything else when all of these energies are functioning the way they're supposed to. Leigha, I hope I said that right.
Yeah, yes. And I just wanted to add on. So the energy of I want to prove my worth to him is a leaning forward energy. So I want to prove my worth to him is like closing that energy gap. And so he has nowhere to go. She has to value herself, which opens up that gateway, and then he can move forward.
I love that. Amazing. And we are actually out of time. So I'm going to post links to everything Leigha's website where you can get her free gifts and her feminine art of dating, feminine energy secrets, and also her ebook on how to make him fall in love all over again and reconnect your relationship. So everything will just be in the description as soon as I publish this. Stay tuned for my feminine empowerment system videos with Anya Grace if you want to learn some more about some of these concepts. We're going to go really in depth, probably within the next week or so. So we're very excited for that. And this was so much fun, Leigha. These were the best questions and comments I've ever gotten on a live stream so far. So this was amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love that. You guys, this was so fun. Thank you everyone who participated and asked us questions and sent us love. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. We love you guys so much. I can't wait to go back and read all the comments. There were so many of them. So thank you guys so much. We love you, and stay tuned. I'm going to be doing lots of live streams coming up, especially within the next couple weeks. So hopefully we can connect with you again soon. Leigha, thanks again.
Thank you, Helena.